If you feel stuck in manifesting your dreams into reality and getting that creative flow going, creating that momentum, if you stop doing this one thing, it will cease that which is holding you from aligning with what you desire. So check this out. The number one thing that creates a separation or distance from us stepping into embodying the version of ourself that is truly living in our gifts, living in our authenticity, right? Because that dream life, that desire of the reality, that magic, that synchronicity, what it is that you want to create and bring to the world and offer, and what it is the life you want to manifest and attract, the aspects of that vision, they all have to do with one core thing. And that core thing is resistance, right? Because what you resist persists. And resistance is the enemy of flow. Flow is what happens when we release all resistance. And this is also where you see in the law of attraction, non-resistant. Or if you look in the teachings of Abraham Hicks, there's a lot of talk of non-resistance, right? And we're gonna go into 3 things that can help you to get into a state of non-resistance. The first thing is meditation. And why is meditation so effective for us releasing resistance is because the best way to cease the momentum of junk thoughts associated with the old identity version of yourself, right? Maybe living that job that you don't like or feeling stuck in your creative energy, is that's an identity, right? And the beliefs are just thoughts that we continue to think about our reality. So as you shift into creating your reality, it's understanding that kind of underlying script or code, right? So meditation helps you to go into the code, right? And underneath it, and to basically cease all thought. And when you cease all thought, you cease all resistance. And when you cease all resistance, which you can also do through the breath, right? And breath work as well, there's a clearing that happens. And inside of that clearing, there's an opening or an expansion in our consciousness where we connect into the field of infinite intelligence. And we get tuned into our own inner source, and we start to feel the feeling states that are more associated with the solution we're seeking. So we start receiving those ideas. And if you'd like to get a free meditation in how to tune into source, you can click the link below. The second thing that came to me today is shifting your awareness from the problem to the solution, right? Because the more that we focus on the problem, the more resistance we create. And what we often do is we try to focus on the problem in order to solve it. But when you continue to focus on the problem, you continue to reactivate the vibration of the problem itself. What happens is when we make a shift inside of ourselves and we start to tune into, well, what would it feel like if this problem was already solved, right? What would it feel like if I had the money, right? Instead of thinking about how you don't have the money, focus on the feeling of having the money, right? This is classic mindset shift from lack to abundance. But focus on, I'm not really feeling the satisfaction in this relationship. Focus on what it would feel like to be fully satisfied in relationship, right? And what will happen is as you pivot your awareness towards that, in your physical reality, synchronicities will start to occur and opportunities will happen. You'll go to the coffee shop and meet someone. You'll realize how to more properly communicate yourself in relationship. You'll suddenly have an idea for something you can do in your business. All of these things will start to come as like little dot points. Like if you imagine life was like a video game, there's like these little dot points, right? It reminds me of this scene Tony Robbins describes when he's learned going these super fast race cars. And the first time he goes, they do these 90-degree turns, and he's going to hit the turn, and the guy's like trying to grab his head to focus on the way he wants to go because you can't stop looking at the wall. But his trainer was saying, if you look at the wall, you're gonna hit the wall. But when you're in that high pressure of a situation, it's hard to look at where you want to go. But when he finally got it, the guy had to literally grab his head. When he finally got it, and he was able to do it himself, He nailed the turn every time, because we can't look at what's right ahead of us. If you just look at what is already manifested and you look at the problem, you're looking at the wall. You've got to look at the turn. You've got to look at where you want to go. And the more that you pivot towards that, and the more that you start to feel that flow, it'll start to occur in your daily life, right? And number 3, right, is to stop forcing it. When we push and we try to make it happen, it creates more resistance. And this is also why motivation alone is not enough. You want to have inspiration, right? And it's also about shifting your identity, right? And this is the classic thing of when people make a big change in their life and then they revert back to the old habit, is because there hasn't been that identity shift yet. When we start to sync up with and do these internal vibrational practices to pre-pave our way, pre-pave our day, and step into that frame and that version of ourselves, right? We start to embody that, and then it becomes more natural. Yes, there's a practice. Yes, there's a friction. Yes, there's breaking barriers. Yes, there's working that fire, that passion. At the same time, we want to have the balance in our emotions, right? We want to have the balance in our inspiration. We want to have the balance in mental clarity. And when you bring all those elements together, which also correspond to earth, air, water, fire, and space, as you bring all those elements together, basically you start to get into this Wu Wei, is a word in Taoism, I think, where basically they talk about the balance between the yin and the yang, the balance between that push and that pull, because just forcing alone isn't enough. The more that you align first and allow the flow to come through you, the more the inspirations will come in and the more you will take the inspired action consistently, stepping into that version of yourself who's living that reality. The more you force it, the more obstacles will be put in your path, the more tension it will create until you learn the lesson associated with that thing, right? And this also has to do with like surrendering to that there is a divine timing and trusting in the flow of the universe. See, the more that we force, that more that pushing causes stress. Like stress pulling on a pulley, it eventually starts to break down, right? And that is a dis-ease, right? And then, that's not being at ease. And the more we stay in those states of stress, the more it eventually manifests in our physical body. So, yes, get out of the comfort zone. At the same time, ease and flow. What is the balance for you? And there's something about this key piece that bringing this, and I want to wrap this up with coming to peace, right? Because yes, it's like you want to manifest, but when we come to peace and acceptance and stillness in our experience, and we can utilize these energetic tools to do that, what happens is there's a smoothing out in the ethers. There's a smoothing out in your thought process. There's a relaxation in your emotions. And it becomes more, the less resistance there is, think of electricity, right? Think of a conduit. Think of your body as a conduit for electricity. In electricity, the more resistance there is, the more power there needs to be to get the same output. The less resistance there is, a lesser amount of power can make a greater output. So think of it in terms of energy efficiency. Resistance wastes electricity or your energy in your body. It causes you to get tired, and it causes you to dissipate the energy you have to create and manifest. So by using these processes to come to a state of relaxation and meditation, hypnosis, right? Integration, shadow work as well. All of these processes are ways of also energy work, ways of clearing our energy body, right? So that we have less resistance. And as we step into that sense of peace actually helps us to come to clarity and helps us to come to manifestation. And again, this comes back to having a deep level of trust and faith. Faith in the path, yeah. Faith in the power of the universe, yeah. But faith in your own vision, right? Faith is a principle of belief in action. Beliefs create our reality. Beliefs are made of thoughts. Thoughts are made of vibrations, right? When you change all of that, you change your self-identity, you change the paradigm you're living in, and when you change, your reality changes too, because it's a reflection, like a mirror. And when you have that full faith, right, and the non-resistant flow, and you're embodying it, right, like an avatar, like a character in a game or a story, right, you're becoming that version. It's sending a signal out, a frequency out into the universe that you are ready for what you desire. Ask and it is given. And then the universe will start sending you the cooperative components. It will start sending you the synchronicities. It'll start sending you the opportunities. You'll go to Whole Foods and you'll run into the guy that wants to do the retreat with you next month in the line of waiting to get your lunch. You know, you'll make an alliance where now suddenly you've got a cool collaboration. Oh, one of your videos will blow up. Like, these are all things that I've started to see in my own experience of, like, these hints of the universe being like, okay, you're ready for that. Here's another opportunity. Okay, you're ready for that. Here's another opportunity. And in that, the one thing, if you're feeling stuck in manifesting, is, I swear, surrender to the divine. Surrender to the flow. Do some inner work to become aware of that resistance with loving awareness, but realize that awareness is the beginning of transformation. And as you start to become aware of that, one way to do this is simply turn your attention towards a better feeling thought and follow it for at least 17 seconds. And every time that the problem comes up and you feel that tightness, start to pivot towards the solution already being done and open and feel a flow of energy coming into you. And then pay attention for what comes your way. So thanks for tuning in. If you like this, please hit the like button. It'll send it out into the YouTuberverse. And leave a comment of what you're experiencing with the process of releasing resistance. And I also invite you to subscribe to the channel. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next one.